The Avengers are fighting each other in Midtown, and while Spider-Man is kicking Wolverine in the face, he looks at the camera and says that there once was a time when the Avengers fought each other. That's why he wants the viewer to pay attention, so they don't go down the same road. But then, just as Giant Girl is about to smash her team with a truck, yelling that she wanted a damned PHO, Logan tells her to take her best shot. Suddenly, they all calm down. Cap apologizes to anyone he injured and admits that he doesn't know what came over him. Ant-Man tells him he feels the same and adds that they were just trying to figure out where to go for lunch before things escalated. The mayor angrily gets out of her car and yells at them for minutes, scolding them for endangering the city and its people when they should be protecting them. As punishment, she assigns them public service duty to make up for the destruction. Back at Stark Tower, the cafeteria is full of convicts because the Avengers are overseeing a new criminal rehabilitation program. This initiative channels the skills of former henchmen who once worked for supervillains into useful roles in society. Peter high-fives his favorite henchman, Carl, who calls him Spider-Bro and apologizes for his past working with MODOK. He thanks the Avengers for giving him a second chance, promising to make them proud. As they sit at a table, Storm asks if anyone has figured out why they lost control in the city, emphasizing that they are too powerful to let themselves be overcome like that. Peter cuts her off, looks back at the viewer, and says that this was the dilemma the Avengers faced. Would they ultimately save the world or destroy it? Storm, confused, asks what he's doing. Peter tells her that he's filming their public service announcement about their recent outburst because he wants to make sure the viewers learn a lesson from it. While explaining that he can dub his narration anywhere since he wears a full mask and his mouth isn't visible, a figure holding a strange-looking gun watches them from behind a wall. As Cap eats his corn, a green glow begins to form around him. At the table, Ant-Man, in his small size, is eating individual corn kernels to match his scale. Suddenly, Cap throws the corn he was eating at Ant-Man, who quickly dodges it but accidentally lands in Giant Girl's pudding. Furious, she immediately slams her glass over him, imprisoning him. Ant-Man quickly calls for an ant, which flies in and chokes her just enough to free him. Peter bursts out laughing at Giant Girl, so she smacks him, sending him flying across the room. Logan, now enraged, starts punching Ant-Man for ruining lunch. Storm points out that Cap started it with his corn, but Cap angrily responds that this is just how corn was eaten back in the day. Storm, growing frustrated, questions why everyone except her is acting so foolish. Chaos erupts, and a huge fight breaks out in the cafeteria, with the convicts still inside. After the fight, they all sit in their headquarters. Spider-Man talks to his viewers while the others discuss how to fix their problem. Giant Girl suggests calling Bruce Banner since he's been dealing with anger issues his whole life. Ant-Man adds that Bruce has been miserably failing at managing his anger all this time. Bruce refuses to come, not wanting to risk getting angry himself, but he suggests his therapist instead. Cap wastes no time and tells everyone to hop in the jet so they can go see the doctor. At Dr. Samson's office, they find him with his hair turned green due to the radiation he absorbed while treating Bruce. He hands them all profiles to fill out and begins his evaluations. Starting with Ant-Man, he quickly deduces that Ant-Man believes ants are the key to fighting evil and diagnoses him with a reverse Napoleon complex. Moving on to Spider-Man, he instructs him to express himself through clay. Then he determines that Spider-Man is emotionally stunted, immature, and in need of a wife. For Cap, he uses a word association test. When prompted with words like star, ring, and lady, Cap instinctively responds with patriotic terms such as flag, freedom, and liberty. He then questions why Giant Girl remains in her giant form even when there is no immediate danger, and he hands Logan a card with a picture of beautiful flowers, instructing him to contemplate it. After a few hours of evaluations, Dr. Samson gives his conclusion. He explains that the Avengers are assembled for big action, and without an outlet to channel their power, they become restless and turn on each other. His recommendation is simple. They need to find a real threat to focus their aggression on. They jump into the Quinjet, and as they search for someone to fight, they all start feeling much better. The tension between them fades, and they no longer feel like they hate each other. While scanning for threats, they locate a Hydra base nearby through satellite surveillance and quickly decide to attack. Flying over the base, they spot Hydra scientists developing a Hulk-like creature meant to fight S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. The Hydra agents are extremely excited about their creation, but before they can celebrate, the creature is suddenly struck by lightning. The rest of the team immediately jumps in and begins attacking and fighting everyone in the base. One of the Hydra agents, confused and frustrated, protests that they haven't even started their operation yet and questions why they are being attacked. Wolverine responds by punching him in the face and mocking him for being a crybaby. Giant Girl smashes one of the creature's heads, while Wolverine calls dibs on the other head, telling everyone to keep it for him. Just as he unsheathes his claws and prepares to lunge at it, Cap smashes the head with his shield, defeating the creature. Furious, Logan accuses Cap of taking his kill. When Cap says he didn't hear him, Logan angrily asks whether the ears sticking out of his mask are real or not. Storm watches the scene unfold and realizes that therapy isn't working on them. Meanwhile, Peter looks up at the sky and sees that the Quinjet is still hovering above them. He wonders when Ant-Man is going to land it, only to hear Ant-Man, standing below him, angrily announce that he already did. Frustrated, Ant-Man complains that they didn't save any villains for him to fight. Storm points at a not quite unconscious Hydra agent, giving Ant-Man a target. Without hesitation, Ant-Man jumps onto the agent's head and starts stomping on it. Cap, still looking at the sky, questions who is in the jet if they've already landed theirs. Peter casually tells them that it's Iron Man, panicking over the bill from the therapist. They all turn to the jet, waiting for Tony to step out, but Cap immediately declares that he isn't covering the bill. Even though they don't know for sure who is in the jet, they all start getting angry at Tony. Annoyed, Ant-Man calls them morons and tells them that it's not Iron Man, it's someone who stole their ship. That realization makes him even angrier. A strange figure descends from the jet, holding the same strange gun seen earlier. He tells them that their anger is due to being within the range of his ray gun. Introducing himself as Hate-Monger, he reveals that he is the one responsible for making them turn on each other. Wolverine unsheathes his claws, ready to attack, but before he can strike, Hate-Monger asks why he has been telling everyone that Giant Girl is getting fat. Enraged, Giant Girl immediately steps on Wolverine, smashing him. As Storm rushes over to help him, Hate-Monger tells her that Giant Girl has been saying that Storm's hair looks like a dancer's hair. Infuriated, Storm turns and attacks Giant Girl instead. Cap is about to intervene, but Hate-Monger remarks that Storm is the kind of hero he likes, except for her tendency to badmouth the USA. Without hesitation, Cap hurls his shield at Storm's face and attacks her. Ant-Man, seeing the chaos unfold, shouts at the team, calling them idiots and telling them to attack Hate-Monger instead. However, Spider-Man grabs Ant-Man and throws him at Wolverine's eye. Then, using two webs attached to rocks behind Logan, he creates a slingshot and launches Wolverine, sending him flying. Storm, overwhelmed with frustration, summons a snow blizzard, shouting that they are the worst team ever. Cap yells back, calling them punks and insisting that if they followed orders the way they did back in the war, this wouldn't be happening. However, the intense cold causes Hate-Monger's ray gun to freeze and stop working. Taking advantage of the situation, the team quickly webs him up and takes the gun away. When they remove his mask, they are shocked to discover that Carl is the one behind it. He explains that when he worked for MODOK, Hydra agents weren't loyal because of the bad pay or poor benefits. They were loyal because of the hatred they carried for S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. His plan was to strengthen the Avengers as a team by making them direct their increased hatred toward him as Hate-Monger, forcing them to work together more effectively. Peter turns to the camera and tells the viewers that the lesson learned today is to trust no one. Storm immediately gets angry and argues that this isn't true. The team then asks Carl to help them develop a device that can protect them from the frequency emitted by the ray gun, realizing that, in the wrong hands, it could start wars. Carl agrees to work on it, but he informs them that Wolverine won't need protection since the gun had no effect on him due to his healing factor. Everyone is surprised by this revelation. Meanwhile, Logan simply walks away laughing and remarks that it was good times.